So thank you everybody for joining this afternoon for our webinar today. Xero is too hard. Discover the easy way. And to begin today, I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the various lands on which we work today and the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people joining this webinar. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and recognise and celebrate the diversity of Aboriginal peoples and their ongoing cultures and connections to the lands and waters of New South Wales, which is where we are based. Just some quick housekeeping before we start. If you've got questions during today, you'll see there is a Q&A feature in Zoom. You should see a little Q&A button at the bottom of the screen. We'll answer as many questions as we can during the webinar today. We will leave a little bit of time at the end to live answer some questions as well. We'll also answer any that we can through text during the webinar as well. So don't be shy. If you've got any questions, please do let us know. And now I will hand over to our main speaker today, who is the CEO of Easy Business App, and that is Paul Sharpe. Good afternoon, Paul.
Thank you very much, Mike, and good morning, Mike. Mike's not in Sydney with us, so he's on a funny time zone. We're quite early for him, so thanks for getting up, and thank you, Martin, for joining us as well. So just talk about the agenda briefly. I'm really keen to show you Easy Business App so you can see what all the fuss is about. But I'm going to take the opportunity to spend just a few minutes first talking about the various software options and how it impacts your role as a bookkeeper. So we'll look at the state of bookkeeping tech and talk about the options. Then I'll take you through Easy Business App and the common use cases. And at the end, I've got a great offer for you and your clients. And we'll also have some time for questions, as Mike mentioned. And just remember, if you've got questions along the way, feel free to put them using that button down the bottom. And Mike and Martin will help me curate them along the way. So we'll start with some introduction. So I'm Paul Sharpe, as you know. I've been working not just with finance and accounting systems for 20 years, but what I would say is more important is I've been working with the users of accounting software for a very long time. And I spent a large portion of my career, not just setting up those systems, but actually training users in various finance systems and accounting software, and all sorts of users, from clerks to bookkeepers to admin staff and accountants, all the way through to CFOs. I also spent the last couple of years on the ATO Strategic Working Group. So this is where the ATO invites industry leaders to discuss and give feedback on the ATO's roadmap and their general direction. So there are quite a few stakeholders on that group with different angles. I spent probably most of my time in that group loudly raising the issue of increased compliance burden on small businesses and how this affects people like bookkeepers and accountants, how digitization should make things easier, not harder. Think agents linking process, for example. And I also shared my strongly held views about how digitization and AI can't replace real knowledge and experience, which is a really interesting thing going on in the industry at the moment. I have to thank Mike for putting these slides together. He's kindly put down that I never sleep. What I think he actually means is that I always look tired, which is a little bit how I am, but I'm also lucky enough not just to have a great company to run, but also to have a new baby that came along a couple of weeks ago. So at least I have an excuse for the moment for looking tired. So thanks for that, Mike. I will now hand over to Mike just to do a short intro.
Thank you, Paul. So yeah, I am Mike Ward. I'm head of customer experience here at Easy Business App. As it says on the slide, I kind of put the app part into Easy Business App. My background is a technical background, software design and engineering. I've worked on all manner of B2B and B2C products, but I also have a lot of experience as well in accounting and bookkeeping software, similar to Paul. Also a lot of training experience in that sector where you guys work. I also have a bit of a marketing background. I was head of digital for a London marketing agency. And my fun fact is that I'm a terrible DJ. Not going to be doing anything today on the music front, so we're fine. But fortunately, I'm a little bit better at accounting software than being a DJ. I don't know if that makes me cool or not, but there it is. So that's me. I'll hand over to the the third musketeer, I guess we've got here today, Martin.
Thanks, Mike. Hi, I'm Martin. I focus on strategy and funding for Easy Business. I guess I'll make sure that every dollar we spend on new features gives the biggest benefit to as many of our small business customers as possible. And I guess part of that is planning new features that make it easier for their advisors, so bookkeepers and accountants, to help them. Yeah, so that's briefly what I do. And apparently I talk about boats too much. I don't think I'll say anything else about that. That's Mike making a comment, I think. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, thank you, Mike, and thank you, Martin. So let's move on. So just before we start, I'm very interested to know if you agree with this assertion. So what I'm going to do, we've got a little poll set up. Let me see if I can find polls. Here we go. So you should see on your window, you should see a new window pop up with a little button for yes or no to answer that question. I would ask you to please be as honest as possible. So I'll just give you a couple more seconds to fill that in. One more second. Okay, we've got 86% of the participants have filled that in. So thank you very much for doing that. I can tell you the results now. So 80% of you have said yes, which, to be honest, breathing a sigh of relief. Otherwise, it might be a very short webinar. But to be honest, even if you didn't think that was the case, I still think we'd have a lot of things to share with you. We've dealt with lots of people who tell us they don't think some of the integrated accounting packages is too hard. And then we show them what we're about in our product, and they come away with a different view. So yeah, I'd be very interested to see how you feel about this at the end of the webinar. Okay, so once upon a time, a long time ago, my father, who was a small business owner, needed to move from typewriter to PC. Now, I was an eager teenager back then who liked computers. I think I had an Amiga back then, one of the early ones, and I liked technology. So it was my job to move him and his staff over to start using Windows and Microsoft Word. And then about 20 years ago, I helped him move his accounting software from an on-premise Quicken, I think it was, to the cloud with Xero. And it was great. It was really, really, like, it made such a difference. I could help him with issues. I didn't have to drive over to his place. I could jump into his account. The cloud was a really amazing breakthrough. It really changed. It really, if I could say, it made helping him fit in with my lifestyle. I could do it remotely. I could do it from home. He would give me a call. I didn't have to drive over all the time. So that was really like a real milestone, a really big change in the industry that I thought was great. And I really had a personal experience with that. So now that another 20 years has passed, let's look at the current state of bookkeeping software and technology. In the green corner, we have what we could call complex accounting software. So what does this software do? It provides proper double entry bookkeeping. So it does the real accounting for you. It's built for bookkeepers and accountants, not necessarily your average small business owner. It's the same solution, whether you've got a business with 40 employees or 2 employees. So it's one size fits all. It's a pretty terrible mobile experience from what the reviews say on the various review websites. It's quite expensive and you can't pay for what you use. So you have to generally buy a package. And bad support is probably the #1 mention point if you go through their reviews on Trustpilot. In the red corner, we have what we call single function apps. So generally they're good at what they do, better than receiving a box of receipts in the mail. They're supposedly easier to use, but not when there's very poor support if it's non-existent. It's something could be easy, but if you need some support and it's not there, that makes it quite difficult. They're not integrated. You can't see the health of your business. You can't run consolidated reports, and managing, access for various people can be difficult. And generally they only do one thing. And then in the blue corner, we have sole trader DIY apps. So these are attractive to business owners. They say you don't need a bookkeeper or accountant. In fact, with the newly released now Bookkeeper, you can't even invite your bookkeeper to access, which is a little bit ironic. So I'm sure you have your own views about that. However, from what I've seen in the Bookkeeper support group, they are a really good source of rescue jobs. So long may they keep creating jobs for you, for you people. Okay, so let's talk just very briefly about what we at Easy Business App consider to be the 4 pillars of great software. So easy. So we think small business focused. So the right tools for the right job, not for every company, not for medium-sized enterprise, but just for small and micro businesses. That means less mistakes, less features that you don't use. It's consumer easy. So think about Uber. No one needs half an hour to learn how to use the Uber app. Well, actually, my dad probably does, but that's another story. Easy does not mean that you can do something on your phone. Easy means that you can do everything on your phone and it works exactly the same way as it does on web or any other device. So you don't need to learn how to use it in 2 different ways. Affordable. So priced for small and micro businesses, not for medium enterprises. Flexible modular plans. So what that means is you pay for the parts you use. You don't have to pay for 1,000 invoices just because you've got 5 employees. You only pay for the bits you want and no lock-in contracts. And no endless price rises. So Xero's prices have increased 30% in just the last few years. Mobile. So it's really important that everything just works. You should be able to do every single thing on any device. We should never tell you what device to use, whether it's a tablet, a mobile, a Mac, a PC, Android, iOS. It should just work in the same way. And it should be really fast and snappy. You shouldn't be there twiddling your thumbs while pages or reports are loading. And lastly, something that's very close to our heart is supported. It should be well supported. So we have a support team in Australia for you and also for your clients. And we are super responsive to your requests. All the changes we make generally are based on customer feedback. We make we basically make releases all the time, and we even released 2 new reports just this week. So enough talking. What I'm going to do now is we're going to look at the actual software itself. So I'm going to show you how each of our 4 modules work, as well as our advisor portal. So just bear with me a moment while I switch screens. Okay, Mike, just let me know if there's any issue viewing my screen, or Martin. I'm assuming you can see my screen. And Mike, could you just let me know if the Zoom's okay or whether I should make it a bit bigger?
Looks okay to me.
Okay, great. So here is Easy Business App. You can see how it's structured based on these menus on the left-hand side. So each module is named really with the business user in mind. Payroll STP, go to the Easy Payslip module. Customer invoicing, Easy Invoicing. Cashflow, which includes your bank feeds, that's the Easy Cashflow. And then Easy Reports, where you have all your reporting and it brings it all together. So what I'm going to do first is show you our Easy Cashflow module. So I can see up the top here, even though I have lots of clients, Easy Cashflow, that is my current selected entity. So when I go to my Easy Cashflow module, so I'm going to open this menu here. I click on bank transactions, and it's showing me the transactions for this entity called Easy Cashflow Demo. So firstly, notice these tabs up the top. We have unmatched. That's basically your to-do list, what you might call the unreconciled items. We then have all, which is reconciled and unreconciled. We also have this I'm not sure tab, which we will come back to. Just another thing, notice how snappy everything is. So I can scroll, I can keep scrolling, the transactions keep coming. There's no loading, there's no waiting for new pages to load, it just keeps going. It's what we call our infinity scrolling. And as I said, we're really big on technology at our company, and this sort of thing is really important to us for someone who's spending all their time in our software. So let's try and process this first item. So it's Stellar Chambers. which is a bottle near where I live. So first thing I'll do is click on it. Now, this brings us to this transactions detail screen. This is the only place you will ever come when you are reconciling a bank transaction. We don't have 3 different options or 7 different screens, depending on what you're doing. It gives us one screen and it either takes us to categorize or it takes us to match. So at the moment, we're just talking about categorize. So what we're going to do is categorize this first transaction. First thing we do is we choose a category. Notice we use the term category. You might think of this as a GL account. We use category because it's a bit nicer or a bit more familiar for our small business users. So I can scroll down. You can see it's pre-filled with office supplies and expenses. Often we will pre-fill that based on the bank transaction data. But we can also search for something else, such as not food. What about meals? So I can just type in MAE and meals and entertainment comes up. I also have the option of scrolling through the whole chart of accounts here. I can even add something new to the chart of accounts if I like. But in this example, let's just go with office supplies. Gives me the GST code. I can add a supplier. So let's do that. Change the seller. I can also add a description. Let's say beer for the office fridge. And I can also upload a photo if I want to. Here's a nice photo. Actually, I don't know that you get that much booze for $36.98, but maybe there was a sale. And then I can save. So that's all there is to it. It's done. It's disappeared from my unmatched list. If I click on all, we can now see it here and it's got a status of categorized. So I'll go back to unmatched. I'll now go to another one. So let's look at this next transaction from Istanbul. Notice in this time it's pre-selected the category meals and entertainment. Now, again, it is as simple as pressing save. However, there are other options if you need them. So if, for example, let's say I bought 2 kebabs here, and one of them was for work and one of them was for my partner. So maybe $10 was the work one. I can then just click on assign to personal. So what it does, it creates a second line item. It automatically puts it to owners, directors, drawings. This is another example of what we say when we mean easy. We don't think it's really obvious to small business owners, the whole concept of owners, directors, drawings. So we do it for you. So I'm just going to now remove that split. Once again, if I had a GST portion and a non-GST portion, again, I can split to multiple. Automatically creates that second line item where I can choose a new category or choose a tax code. So I'll remove that split. I'll put that original amount in again. What I actually want to show you is the I'm not sure how to categorize this option. So I'm going to click on this. It allows me to put a note in. So kebab went on the road for work, not sure if it's claimable. And I can also add a photo, could be a receipt, it could be a photo of the actual, oops, sorry, I've got a network issue here. Let me just try that again. This is our chat system, which is a bit unpredictable times. Okay, I won't upload a photo in this instance, but I can upload a photo there and then I can save it. That has just appeared. That now lives in the I'm not sure tab. So what that means, if you have a client who's processing bank statements, when you jump into their account, first place you can go is this I'm not sure transaction. You can open it. You can read the note they've made for you. You can look at the photo if they've uploaded one, and then you can actually categorize it or save it or change the way it's being categorized. So this lives in the I'm not sure. Okay, so I'll go back to my unmatched. Let's just try a slightly different scenario. Let's say we've got this, you can see in green here with this plus. This is $1,000 coming into our account. So I'm going to click on this one. Now, notice this screen looks a bit different. So far, when we clicked on a transaction, it took us to the categorize screen, where we choose a category and then save it. But it's taken us to the match screen because it has found a document that it matches to, in this case, an invoice. So it thinks that this payment is for that invoice. Now, if I'm not sure, it's a single click, takes me into the actual invoice. So not only can I see when it's created, when it was sent, and when it was viewed, I can also see that it's overdue for 1 day. So I can check the invoice out, check the customer, May and the Shutlers. I can then go back to my bank transaction. There we go, Shutlers. If I'm happy with that, single click, save match. And that has now matched that payment to that invoice. Now, we mentioned before about everything being the same on mobile and on web. So what I'm going to do, we've got this fancy little tool that will make it look like we're in a mobile phone. So this is exactly how it looks on a mobile phone. Notice instead of having the menus down the left, we have this little menu button here that gives us those exact same menus. Easy Payslip, Easy Invoicing, Easy Cashflow. We're in Easy Cashflow. And now the menus within Easy Cashflow, we see down the bottom. So we are in the bank transactions menu here. So let's just do the same thing. So let's find this Coles item for 194, single click, and it takes us to categorize. Notice it looks exactly the same. We have the same options. It suggests a category, or we could search for a category, the amount, the GST treatment. We can assign to personal. We can say, I'm not sure. You can do all the same options. I'll just type in Coles. I'll put supplies, staff, kitchen. And then save. And that's done. So it is literally the exact same process. And I'll just show you a match. So let's find this amount here for 883. Let's imagine this is for wages payment. So this is for payment of a payslip. So I'll click on it. So once again, instead of taking me to categorize, it takes me to match because it has found a payslip that this relates to. Now, why do we match payslips? In most software, this would not be the case. In most software, you'll click on categorize. And what would a small business user do? They would search for a category, probably wages, and they may choose the salary wages expense. Now, this is not right because when we create the payslip, it posts to the wages salary expense. It also posts to the liability account, the wages payable. So actually, when you're matching the payment, we need to categorize it to the wages payable. Now, we think this is a great opportunity for a small business user to make a mistake. That is why we take you to the match screen. You can check the payslip. So just check that this is the right payslip. So single click. There is my payslip. It's probably a bit small on your screen, but you can see there that net amount is 883. So I know that's the payslip that this payment is for. I can go back. I select it. There's actually a difference here. So I've set up my data incorrectly. So the payments for the payslips for 883. The actual amount of the transaction is 883.28. So good opportunity to show you something I wasn't going to show you. So firstly, it is going to put 883 against that payslip to the wages payable account. I can now categorize that 28 cents different and say it's bank fees, for example, and save. And now that's saved. So we are all about trying to make these things as simple as possible. Okay, so the last thing I'll show you in Easy Cashflow is we've been in the bank transaction screen. I'm now going to go in the ins and outs screen. You can still create manual expenses and manual income, and we don't actually charge you for that. So if you don't want to link your bank account, you can still do this manually. You may have a client who only has a few transactions a month. So click on the plus. Again, I'll stay in the mobile view. Click expense. Once again, choose the account that you're paying it from. It's just like a spend transaction in Xero. Choose the category, let's say advertising, marketing. Put your amount in. Put your supplier in, add agency, and let's put Facebook campaign. And again, we can upload a photo. And really, this works great for mobile phone with the integration with your photo library. And then click save. Notice now we've got this manual expense here. Notice it's in grey and not blue because it's unmatched. So we are waiting for that to appear in our bank statement. And then it will have the status of matched, like these blue items here. And I can also sort and only show the unmatched. So you can always manually create ins and outs for no extra charge. So that's easy cash flow. Just give me a moment while I reshare my screen. Okay. So, in summary, easy cash flow. We make it as easy as possible to use. Yes, you can do similar things to other software, but there are just less screens to be familiar with. There's a not sure place where we don't post it somewhere. You don't have to back out a transaction from a suspense account. We'll just put it as not sure, and there's a really nice list where you as the bookkeeper can just go and process that. It's affordable. So it's free at the moment. From July, it will be $9.95 a month. Or you can always go and just manually snap expenses, snap receipts, create expenses, create income items, put them into your bank account without actually linking a bank account, and that will always be free. It's 100% mobile, as we said, and it's really well supported. We actually have a real phone number, your clients and yourselves, you can call us for help, and we have email, and we have live chat. So what I'll move on to now is the payroll module. Just bear with me a sec, I'll just share my screen again. Okay. So, firstly, I'm going to go back to my web view instead of my mobile view. So back to my web view, and I'm going to firstly go to the advisor portal. So here is my list of all my clients. So you can see I've got about 10 clients here. Really simple to switch between them. It's just a matter of clicking access. So if I click Josephine's Importing, you can see up here, now my current entity is Josephine's Importing. If I go to Sheer Madness, I'll click on that. My active entity is Sheer Madness. Now when I go to Easy Payslip, I can go to my employee menu. Here are my employees for Sheer Madness. Go back to the advisor portal, and I'll just expand this Sheer Madness client, and we have some helpful information here. So we can see who has access. So this is me, Paul Sharpe. I'm the owner. Mike Ward has access, and we've also got their accountant, Johnny Accountant, who has access. I can also see what modules they're using and have an active subscription for. So there's an active subscription for Easy Payslip, and for Easy Invoicing and Easy Cashflow and Reports, they're on the free plan. So what I'm going to demonstrate with Easy Payslip is just how easy it is to do payroll and STP. So I'm going to create a brand new client, set up the org, create an employee, do a pay run, and send an STP file. And I reckon I can do it in about 5 to 7 minutes, maybe a bit longer because I tend to talk a lot. Mike and Martin tell me, but let's see how we go. So I'll click on this Add New Client button. Now there are two options. You can put in your client's details and invite them to set up their account, or you can actually set it up for them and invite them later. So I will set it up. So let's call it Bookkeepers Demo. So that's the name of the entity. Just use my own address here in case anyone wants to send me a Christmas card. It's on the recording. I'm putting my own ABN. Notice we do have the WPN option. So we were the very first software company to allow you to send STP files for WPN users. We were also actually the first to have JobKeeper. And we managed, even though it was poorly designed by the government, we made it much easier than the other software. And I know lots of bookkeepers probably have nightmares about JobKeeper. We were the first people to do that. So in this case, I will not do a WPN. I will do an ABN. I'll say I'm GST registered, and I'll choose my industry, let's say hospitality. And I will save it. So now we have this new client entity here. Notice it's my active account. So I've already set up the client org. It's as simple as that. Now I'm going to go to my Easy Payslips menu, It's 3 easy steps. Create the employee, create the payslip, send the STP file. So I'll do that now. Firstly, I'll go to my employee screen. Just hide this. Okay, so the first button. Oh, one other thing to point out. When I added that client, notice I did not have to contact the ATO and with a software ID. You do not need to do that. We use different technology that handles that automatically in the software. So no contacting the ATO with software ID. So I'll add a new employee. First screen is a personal detail. Just use my own details. I can choose to have payslip sent to the employee or not, just with this toggle. Not very interesting, that screen, just personal detail. I'll now go on to payroll. I'll give myself a job title. Let's say overworked bookkeeper, full-time. Let's say an hourly rate, let's say 65. I'll say payment weekly, hours 38. Leave. You can see we have all the important common leave types. In this example, I would just turn on annual leave and I can enter a carried over balance if I want, and personal leave. We then have taxes. Typically, you would enter a tax file number and choose the tax residency and the tax band. In this case, I will say it is applied for and pending. And lastly, we have super. It defaults to the current mandated rate, depending on the payslip. If you do a payslip in the last financial year, it'll automatically do 10.5%. So you don't have to muck around with this, but you do have this option of entering custom rates. And then I will say, oh, what have I forgotten? I've forgotten my tax band. So let's choose tax-free threshold and then save. Okay, so that's step 1. We have our employee. Step 2, let's create the payslip. So let's say this payslip is from the 1st of the 4th until the 7th of the 4th. So we enter our dates, and let's say the payment date is 7th of the 4th. I can select all my employees. In this case, I only have 1 employee. So I'll just select that one and create pay run. So it brings this information from the employee record. Notice I haven't set up any additional pay items, mapped them to GL accounts or cost codes. I haven't set up any pay schedules. I've just put the dates in when I'm creating the pay run. So here's the basics. We have all these other options down here. If we want, we can just save it with the basics, but let's add overtime. So down here, we've got overtime. So I'll click on that. Let's say it's a multiple, like a double time, for example. So I click on this, I can choose double time, and let's say 4 hours. So it's going to take that base rate and apply double time. And there it is. So no setting up in advance. It just puts it straight on the payslip. So if I'm happy with that, I can save, but always a good idea to preview first. So this actually shows me exactly what the payslip looks like before I've saved anything at all. And if I'm happy, if I'm unhappy, if I find a mistake, I can go back. If I'm happy, save and send. Pay run complete. It's got a button here to take me straight through to STP. So here is a summary of my pay run. I can expand it. It very clearly tells me the STP status. It's not just an icon. You can see STP not sent. And we have this nice button here, lodge STP, put my name in, and lodge. And that is done. You can see now it's got the status of STP pending. So it is as easy as that. I don't know if that was 5 minutes or 7 minutes, but I think it was pretty quick. Obviously, it'd take a bit longer if you're creating multiple employees, but it really is that simple. No schedules, no mapping of setting up additional pay types, that sort of thing. You put the pay types on the payslip. We do the accounting for you. We don't ask you the hard questions, and you're good to go. So what I'll do, I'll just go back now, and I will switch to mobile. So notice it looks exactly the same. Instead of having the menus down the left, we have the menus down the bottom. So employees, payroll, STP, reports. Again, I put my dates in. So let's do pay run number 2. The first pay run was the 1st week of April. Now let's do the 2nd week of April. So from the 8th to the 14th. and payment date 14th. Select the employee, create pay run. Now, brings the base rate again. Notice it's remembered that overtime. So you don't have to re-enter that. You just have to adjust the hours each time. So let's say this time, I click on it. Let's say this time it was 7 hours overtime. And again, I just want to remind you, we keep it nice and simple up here. If you have other requirements, we have all the different types of entitlements: allowances, taxable and untaxed, reimbursements, deductions, super salary sacrifice. You can add a note to the payslip, and obviously there's a slightly different procedure for final payslip. So once again, even on the mobile view, I can preview the payslip first. Shows me exactly what the payslip's going to look like. If I'm happy, I can save and send. Then I go to STP. Again, it shows me here, STP not sent, and even from mobile, I can just click Lodge STP, type my name in, oops, and lodge. Okay, so as I said, there's a whole lot of complexity down payroll if you want to make it more complicated with additional items, but it is really that simple to set up a new client and start doing STP. And now my previous pay run screen, I can see I've got those 2 STP files and they're both on their way to the ATO. Within a few minutes, typically they would come back as complete, which tells you the ATO successfully received them. Okay, so that's easy payslip. As I said, it's not really a training session, but just to give you an idea of what's possible and how simple it is. Just bear with me a moment. Let's share again. Okay, so just in summary, it's really easy, as I've shown you. And we have done $2 billion of payslips processed since we've been around. We are not new. We've been around since before STP. We were the first app on the market since the end of 2017. We're very affordable. I think we're pretty much the cheapest on the market, $9.95 a month for up to 4 employees. No lock-in contracts. You do not have to decide at the beginning of the year how many employees you're going to have. If after month 2 you've got 5 employees, you can upgrade your plan. Whoops. If after month 3 you've got 4 employees again, you can downgrade your plan. It is really good value and it's really, really flexible. It's mobile, so half our users now do payroll on mobile. That figure has always been going up. And it's not just tradies that do that. We get calls from people like doctors and IT professionals. They tell us they spend all day in front of the computer. When they get home to do their own admin, the last thing they want to do is open their laptop. So even though they're spending all day in front of the computer, they literally do their pay slips while they're sitting on the couch. Ads, when it's an ad in the football, that sort of thing. They do it wherever they are. It really fits in with their lifestyle, even though they're not that typical sort of on-the-go tradie. And this, as I said, that 50% figure is going up all the time. And it's really well supported. So we mentioned that your clients, when they're using us, they contact us directly in Sydney on a phone number, email, or live chat. You as a bookkeeper get your own partnership manager. So that means you've got a direct person that you can call on their mobile or the direct email if you have any issues, a technical question, or want a hand. So we'll move on to easy invoicing now. I just might pause for a moment and just ask Mike or Martin if there's anything they want to bring up at this stage, any relevant questions?
No, we're having lots of great questions come through in the Q&A, but we're mostly getting through those. So yeah, so far so good. People are liking what they see.
Yep, agree. Sounds great.
Okay, great. So I will go back to my web view now. I'm going to collapse the easy payslip menu and go into the easy invoicing menu. And I'm going to start off with the dashboard. So what have I done here? I'm in the wrong client. So that's the new client I created. Let's go back and switch. So I go back to my advisor portal and I go into my easy Cashflow demo client. So I just click access, back to my easy invoicing dashboard, and there's my data. So this is quite helpful. Gives us just a summary of what's gone on for the year: invoice, paid, outstanding, overdue. Gives us activities of what's been going on. it gives me any that needs attention. So why is this one in need attention? Because it's overdue. We've also got some other invoices here that we've created. So what I'm going to do now, I'll switch back to mobile since about 60% of our users use Easy Invoicing on mobile. And I'm going to create a new invoice. So I click on Create Invoice, and I'll just show you how simple it is and how nice it is on mobile. So add a customer. Let's choose Mike Ward. I'll send this one to you, Mike. Add items. I've got my product set up here. I can easily add a new product. So let's say Easter gift package, even though I'm a bit late. So a quantity of 2. Done. And that's literally all there is to it. Now, I can edit some additional things. So I'll go to the due date. I can add purchase order number, job number, reference. I can also, in settings, I can rename this. So if you want to put a sales order or a customer number, you can put that there. We have payment terms you can easily select. Let's say 7 days. And we have automatic overdue reminders. So I'm going to turn that on. So they will automatically get overdue reminders if they're late. And I'll click on done. So if I'm happy with that, I can save. Notice it gives me a nice preview of the invoice. It also gives me a nice little workflow. So it shows me it's created. It's not sent, hasn't been viewed, and for obvious reasons, it hasn't been paid yet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send it. Has that got the right address? Yes, it's got my address. I could actually WhatsApp it to him. I could SMS it to him as well. But I will send that to him now. So that has gone off. Notice it now shows send. Just while we're waiting for Mike to go and open that invoice and hopefully pay it, but probably not, I'm going to go back and I'll just go back to mobile view now. Sorry, back to web view. And I just want to show you this customize screen. So it's really easy to make your invoices look nice. We've got different colors. We also have a couple of different templates. Now, we are bringing along new templates in future, and we are bringing on additional ways to customize, but it is not too hard to make your invoice look quite smart. I'm a bit colorblind, so it's usually Mike's job to work out what looks good. Let's go with purple. It's probably not good. I'll leave it at that. You can also, in settings, set up Stripe for automatic payments through credit card. You can add a logo, add payment details, that sort of thing. So I'll go back to my dashboard now. Actually, I won't go back to my dashboard. I'll go back to my list. This is a really nice screen because we show you these different options. So this is showing me all my invoices. There's that one I've just created for Mike. I can also just see the ones that I haven't sent. I can see the ones that are not paid. I can see the overdue ones, and I can see the paid ones. So we have really detailed reports, but we say you don't need to access a report. You can just from this screen, click on what you want to see. Click on the one you're interested in. So look at that one I created for Mike. Let's scroll down. We can see now we've got this nice activity log. So it was sent and it has been viewed twice by Mike. And when it's paid, it will then record that as well. Now, we strongly believe you can use the modules you want. You don't have to use them all. If you're using banking in Easy Cashflow, when the money comes in, you can match it and this will get set to paid. But let's just say you're only using Easy Invoicing. You can also mark it as paid within the invoice. So let's record it. We'll say it's a full payment. We'll say it went into my St. George Everyday account and record payment. Notice it updates the invoice with a paid in full stamp, which the customer can access as well. And it now shows us this workflow as well. So it shows when it was paid, that history. All right, so lastly, I'll just very quickly show you an invoicing report. So I'll click on the, I'll go back, I'll click on the reports menu here. Let's do the overdue invoices report. Only one overdue, that's very good news. You can see how much it was overdue. You can export this to Excel. I'll also show you the all invoices report. Again, it gives us these nice little icons. So I can see that one's been paid. I can see this one hasn't even been sent and it's overdue. So at any time I can click on it, jump straight in the invoice. And again, look at how snappy it is. It really is instantaneous. We put a lot of energy into the performance. So, excuse me, that's it for easy invoicing. Just bear with me one tick. So, just to reiterate, this invoicing module hasn't been out for that long, about a year or something, and we've already had almost $150 million of invoicing process. We support card payments through Stripe. We have lots of helpful things like our activity log, auto overdue reminders. It's affordable, so it's free until, says June. It's actually going to be free until July, and then it'll be $9.95 for unlimited invoicing. Again, only pay for the bits you want to use. As I said, 60% of our users do everything on mobile. It's really well supported, but to be honest, we very rarely hear from our invoicing customers just because they find it so easy. Although we are more than happy to hear from them. We always get great feedback when talking to our customers. So the last thing I'm going to show you is easy reports. So let me just collapse the easy invoicing menu. Just give me a tick. Okay. I will actually, let me switch to mobile. So collapse this. What I'm going to do, even though I'm in mobile view, I'm going to go to the advisor portal. I'm going to go to sheer madness. So notice, sorry, I'm not in mobile view. There we go. So you get your advisor portal even in mobile view. So I will go to sheer madness client. I click on access, back to my menu, and now I'll go to easy reports. So you can actually switch between clients, do every single thing you need, invite new clients from our advisor portal, even on mobile. So I'll go back to web view now. Go to reports. Now, we have these business health reports. We also have a separate category for advisors. So I'm going to minimize that, and I'm going to go into the advisor window. Firstly, we have journals. Now, journals, as you're probably aware, are not a report. We just hide it here in the hope that small business owners won't find them and do something that you then have to later on correct. So I'll click on journals. It shows you the history of journals, create new. It's really simple. Choose your account, put a debit, put a credit, choose a tax code, save. That's pretty much all there is to it. So I won't save one now, but it's important that we do have this functionality to do a journal. I'll go back. I will now show you a profit and loss report. So as you can see, we've got an income section, cost of sales, gives us gross profit, and then our operating expenses. Now, I have selected the wrong entity. I'm in sheer madness, and as you can see, there is not a lot of data. So I'm going to go back to the advisor portal. I'm going to click on Easy Cashflow Demo, this client, and then back to reports. Now, not only is it quick, it's literally, I don't even have to rerun the report. So you can see this is now updated with data from the client, Easy Cashflow Demo. So let's do a bit of a drill down. So under this cost of sales, we've got labor, cost of goods sold, drill in. There you can see those two expenses. If I click into it to look at the source document, this is what we call our single view of a document. We try and give you everything on the one screen. So there is the actual data from the bank transaction. That is the text. You can see exactly what came through on the bank statement. You can see the amount. You can see the account it's paid into. You can see the category or the GL account. You can see the GST amount. You can see a description, and you could see a photo if there has been a photo uploaded. That's what we call single view of the document. No additional drill down to see the payment, see the bank account, that sort of thing. It's about making things as simple as possible to find the information you're looking for. So I'll now go back to our profit and loss, and I will go to, let's go to the salary and wages expense account. So I'll click on that. Again, we give you all the relevant information. We make it really clear to see. So these are all the pay runs I've done. So you can see we've got payslips at the same date. So we've got 1 pay run, 2 pay runs, 3 pay runs, about 4. If I click on one, single click, and we are into the payslip. So again, super snappy, gives you the source document straight away, no mucking around. So that's the P&L. I will now run the GL summary report. Notice all our reports, you can choose cash or accrual. So I'll leave it on cash in this example. And again, so this is our list of accounts. It's got my bank accounts. If I scroll down, it's got assets, then liabilities, owner's equity, and then we've got our income, and then we've got our salary wages. So let's go into, then we've got our expense accounts. So I'm going to drill down into sales income. Here's a list of all the postings to the sales income account. Again, we've got customer invoice payments. If I switch view, so let's change it to the accrual view. Now, instead of the figures have changed, instead of looking for invoice payments, it's looking for invoices raised because we're in the accrual view. And once again, a single click, I'm into the invoice. I can see the history. I can see exactly what's happened and what invoice it was for. Okay, so that's the general ledger summary report. Lastly, I'll show you the general ledger detail. And this basically gives you every single transaction if I select all categories. So I will do that. Again, super snappy, no pagination. You don't need to go and click next page, next page, next page and wait for it to load. It's really, really quick. I'll go into office supplies. Here's that one I did before, beer for the office fridge. Single click, shows me the photo, shows me the category, shows me the supplier, and it gives me the information that's straight from the bank account. So all the information on the one place. Okay, I've got a bit over time with this demo, so apologies for that, but there are other reports. There's a balance sheet report, there's a BAF report that basically gives you all your labels, as you can see, including your W1 and your W2 if you're using payroll. So really easy to fill in the your BAS balance sheet and trial balance coming in the next week or so. So just go back to the slides for a moment. Oopsie daisy, let's try that again. So all the core reports we have, really snappy drill down. This module will be free forever. So what does that mean? It means whatever modules you are using now, invoicing, payroll, easy cash flow, or any modules you've used in the past, you will always be able to access your data. You will always be able to run your reports. None of this is connected to a subscription. It was always free. It can be someone that had a subscription and then closed down 2 years ago. You can always go back in and run reports. It will always be free, our reporting module. As I said, you can do everything on mobile and it's really well supported and we're releasing new features all the time. So I just wanted to make one final point. Firstly, thank you for sitting through that demonstration. I hope you enjoyed it. We are not some new kid on the block. We've been around 6 years, got over 10,000 users. Our rating is 4.8 across all the various app stores, including Trustpilot, the Play Store, the Apple App Store, and Google Reviews. You can see what the other software options are. So if you look at Trustpilot, you can see they're much lower. If you have a read of them, you will see they complain about things like support, ease of use. If you go and have a read of Easy Business App reviews, you will see it's exactly what we've been talking about, those pillars of good software. Easy, affordable, great support, and any device. So we are a really serious outfit, and we're here because we really believe there's a gap in the market. There is a place for software that's easy, cost-effective, and that fits in with your lifestyle in terms of do it on the device you want. And we really believe that bookkeepers should be at the forefront of providing clients the right software that fits in with their lifestyle, not the other way around, and also your lifestyle. So we did mention the exclusive offer. We will send you a voucher. So I hope none of you mind if we send you an email after this webinar. we will have a fat unsubscribe button. So if you don't want to hear from us again, we will absolutely respect that. But we will send you one email after this, and we will provide you with a coupon code, which means any clients you set up for yourself or any clients that you invite will get 6 months free. So that will be coming after the webinar. Just one last poll before we go. What percentage of your clients do you think would benefit from an Easy Business app? So let me just get that poll. So you should see this up on the screen. So we're really interested to see what percentage of your clients you think would benefit from this. I'll just give you a few more minutes or a minute or so to fill that in. And then when that's done, I think I'll hand over to Mike and Martin to see if there's any questions just in the last couple of minutes we've got. Okay, that's really helpful. So about 70% of you have filled that in, which is really helpful information for us. It really is a good cross-section. A couple of you said all of them. A couple of you had 0 to 10%, and probably most of you are in the middle. But I really think about that product fit, the right software for the right client. So, Mike, can I hand over to you?
You can. So there's been lots of great questions. Thank you everybody for all the questions that have come into the Q&A. We've answered a lot of them as we go. Just a couple I think it's worth just very quickly now in the 2 minutes we've got left just addressing. We've had a few questions, Paul, about bank reconciliations. You probably saw that coming. Do you want to just tell us what's coming pretty soon and as far as bank rec goes?
Yeah, sure, Mike, thanks. Yes, so we get lots of questions about it. The bank reconciliation is coming in the next couple of weeks. So our developers are working on it now with help from us, the design team. It is coming in the next couple of weeks. We have tried to make it as simple as possible. And one of the ways we've done that is we have a section for the small business owner where we basically say, just process all your transactions and anything you don't know, put in the I'm not sure. Then we have a slightly more complicated bit or a separate section for the bookkeepers, which shows you additional things like what was the opening balance journal for this bank account? Are there ins and outs that have been like manual expenses that were created with a date before you linked your bank account? So just in case there's those tricky things I'm going to show you off, we put them in a separate section in the hope that the business owner will do their bit. And then anything that's a bit tricky that's likely to perhaps result in making a mistake, we leave that in a section for you, but we really have it clearly set out with instructions for what each part of the reconciliation means. Back to you, Mike.
Okay, great. We had another couple of questions around, there was a good question around users and about sort of charging for users and is there a limit to the number of users?
Sure.
We did answer that. I think if you just want to very quickly summarize that, I think it'd be useful.
We charge you per entity. So if you have an entity and it's using payroll, it's $9.95. You can invite as many people as you want to that entity. The business owner, your colleague, the business owner's mum, we do not charge for additional access. And again, every single user can access on any device. So you're just paying the entity as the subscription. It's paid once, and then you get unlimited access for unlimited users can access that. Anything else, Mike?
Okay, let's look. There's a couple of others. I think we are out of time at this point. There's a couple of questions left. We'll either hang on answer those, or we'll just send you an email for anybody who's got outstanding questions. I think what we'll probably do, actually, we've had a lot of good questions. So what we'll do is we'll put them all into a Google Doc or something, and when we send you that email out, we'll put all the questions and answers in there. So if anything that's come up, everyone will be able to see it, and also the last few that we've got here, we'll just get those closed off as well.
Okay, thank you, Mike. So I would like to thank everyone for joining us today. We are on Bookkeeper Support Group. We think it's a brilliant group from Kelly. If you have, we see so many questions about people struggling with software. if you are using our software, you will have our direct contact details. You get that when you sign up. You get our support email, you get a partnerships manager. If you have a question, you're welcome to tag Mike and I in the group. If you've got a question, if you're not sure how to do something, we're happy to jump on and answer. We sometimes see a bit of back and forth, or no one's sure the right way to do something. We are happy to jump on and share our expertise. Obviously, we're not accountants. We don't pretend to give accounting advice. But in terms of how to process something in the system, how it's been designed, we are happy for you to tag us. We really keep a close eye on that group because it gives us such great insight into the sorts of pain points and the challenges that bookkeepers face. So I would say, don't be a stranger. We really like to see some of you people sign up, and we really hope it makes your life easier and also the lives of your small business clients. So thank you again from Martin, myself, and Mike, and thank you again to Kelly for hosting us, and have a great afternoon.